Let's discuss with defense and trial attorney Misty Marris. Misty, thank you so much for being with us. Combs' attorneys want him to be released on bail. I believe it's $50 million bond, a bond that's been secured by his Miami home. The prosecutors say that he should be kept in custody. Do you think he'll wind up getting bail?
Actually, this is a compelling argument that's being laid out by prosecutors, and why this case is a bit different than others that we've seen where bail is granted is all of this information that's coming out about his obstructionist behavior. So prosecutors are laying out that after he became aware of lawsuits, after he became aware of this very criminal investigation, he was actually reaching out to witnesses and victims. That's going to be really compelling to the judge. In addition, the Cassie video that was just referenced, that is the argument is that he is willing to use force and intimidation in order to obstruct these witnesses. So all of that is going into the determination. Now, the defense on the flip side, they're saying he presented himself willfully. He's going to be monitored. He's going to stay in a location, and you're going to be aware of where he is. And there's no reason to think that he's a flight risk. He'll turn in his passport. The judge is about to make a decision, but I think this one might lean in favor of the prosecution.
That is really interesting. Prosecutors also brought up his apology for his violence that's seen in that 2016 video. Does that have any impact? Well, is this guy credible? Keep in mind what he had done with respect to this video. He had come out and he had said, none of what Cassie has alleged is true. Then this video becomes public. Now he's apologizing and saying, I was a different person then, and I'm sorry for what I had done. That's all leading to, can we take his word for it? Can we take his word at this moment where we're deciding whether or not he is a danger to witnesses and a flight risk, that he is going to appear at the next court appearance? He's not going to use his massive amount of money and connections to leave the country, and that he's not going to use that influence that he has on many people, which is the root of this indictment, in order to intimidate witnesses and potentially victims moving forward. So certainly that is going to have an impact on the judge today.
It strikes me, Misty, that there's not a lot of specificity in this indictment as far as where and when these crimes allegedly occurred. I wonder what you make of that.
So in order for the prosecution to get an indictment, they bring it to a grand jury, and they need to find probable cause that a crime was committed and probable cause that the individual they're seeking to indict committed the crime. It doesn't necessarily mean that in the indictment there has to be every single piece of information and factual aversions that the prosecutors might bring into the courtroom when the case ultimately goes to trial. There's strategic reasons to do so. Oftentimes it relates to protecting potential victims and witnesses. We also know from the prosecutor's press conference today, this might not be over. We're talking about a criminal enterprise, and it's the Combs enterprise, according to prosecutors. That means there could be others who could face indictment or who are cooperating witnesses. Also, prosecutors made an overture for anyone who was a victim to step forward and to speak about their experience with the prosecution. So there's just more to the story. This was enough to get probable cause, and strategically certain information was not provided.
Yeah, kind of put out an all call there at the end. It was really interesting.
Yeah, and notably he was the only one named in the indictment. Misty Marris, thanks so much for the analysis. Appreciate you.